You're listening to the Bluegrass Jamboree, playing the best in bluegrass, bluegrass gospel, and traditional country. TheBluegrassJamboree.com.
Hello, and welcome to another segment of Hear It Here, heard only on the BluegrassJamboree.com. I'm Brett Smeltzer, your host of Bluegrass Retrospect, which is normally heard every Friday evening. But today, once again, I am honored to be hosting Hear It Here as I welcome on the phone my special guest and featured artist, Daniel Crabtree. And he is with me on the phone to talk about his latest single, Sally Sunday, from his forthcoming album, The Way I See It. Daniel, it's great to have you here on the BluegrassJamboree.com, and welcome to Hear It Here.
Hello, Brett. It's good to be with you tonight.
Just so the folks who aren't familiar with you and may be listening to this segment for the first time, would you mind sharing a little bit about yourself, starting with where you're from?
I live in a little town just north of Nashville. It's called Greenbrier, Tennessee. I've lived here my whole life, pretty much. Grew up here as a kid, and out here close to Nashville. Seems like everybody around here plays some kind of musical instrument or is a songwriter. Everybody I run into is a songwriter.
How did you first start getting into wanting to play music?
My biggest influence of being involved in music comes from our little church right up the road here. I went to that little church since I was a teenager, and I got roped into being the song director there. Really been a big influence on my life. As a matter of fact, I still do it now. It's been 40 years ago. So,
from day one as a teenager, you were the song director at 13?
No, not 13.
Still? What a responsibility.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, you go to these little rural churches, and they're looking for somebody to do the work.
Gotcha.
So I got involved with it there, and there was some other guys there that played musical instruments and stuff. We pretty much had a little bluegrass band there ever since I was a young man. Some of the guys that still play with me up there at the church are people that I've played with since those early days. That's where my biggest influence from music has come from.
When did you first pick up the guitar?
When I was a teenager. My daddy always had a little old guitar laying around the house. And believe it or not, I picked it up because we had an ice storm come through here years ago. We were without electricity out here in this area where I live for 9 days. And looking for something to do, I picked that little guitar up and started banging around on it. And I kind of took to it and had some friends went to school with that played instruments and sang. And there was an old guy lived up the road from us here. He had a mandolin. He played the mandolin and guitar. And he used to play at some old square dances and stuff when he was growing up. He taught us some of those old square dance tunes on the mandolin, and we tried to learn to play them. And he would tell us, he'd say, now, you got to play this same tune for 15 minutes straight. So,
wow.
You know, that's the way the square dances were, I guess. They dance for 15 minutes at a time to the same song.
Wow.
But that was a big influence on me, too. But the bluegrass gospel really is where I kind of lean to the most. This is the fourth album that I'm doing, and the first two were complete bluegrass gospel records. And all my records that I've done and all the music I've recorded are all songs that are written by me.
Wow.
I haven't recorded any other songs that somebody else has written. The only reason really I recorded the music is because I wrote it, and I wanted to get it out there.
So when did you start honing in on your songwriting skills?
Not too long ago. I guess within the last 5 or 6 years. Well, actually, I wrote a song one day and took it up to the church. Our little group up there played the song, and some of them in the band said, hey, that's pretty good. So that gave me a little encouragement to try to do a little more of it. And one of my friends that's in the band, his son and daughter-in-law do these bluegrass acoustic camp for 3 or 4 days, and you learn to play the guitar, the banjo, the mandolin, or whatever. And they were having some of those that was pertaining to songwriting. And since I wrote this song, they thought it was pretty good. My friend encouraged me to go over there to one of those camps, and so I did. I had already written several songs by the time I went over there, and people over there, they were of like mind, of course, because they were trying to learn to write songs too. And I met Donna Ulysses over there. She was one of the instructors, and she has helped me with producing these records. I had enough of them songs together that I wanted to record the ones I had back 5 or 6 years ago when I started all this. I called on her because I didn't know anything about how to record songs or anything. And once again, my friend told me, so why don't you call on Donna and see if she could help you with it, because, you know, she's done a bunch of records and she's very good at all that kind of thing. And so I did, and she was interested, and she helped me. She has produced all of my records.
I've interviewed a couple artists who have actually told me that they went to a camp in regards to songwriting, and Donna Ulysses was the instructor on that, and that's how they picked up those skills. So,
yeah, she's a great songwriter. She really has an ear for the music. I was really impressed when I got into the music studio to start trying to record the songs. She hears things that I didn't hear, and she knows how to put the stuff together and make it presentable to the public.
Has there ever been anyone in the mainstream bluegrass, or even country for that matter, that has picked up and recorded any of your songs?
Larry Sparks recorded one of my songs last year, Take Me Back to West Virginia. That's my song.
Wow.
That's the only one that's been recorded so far. I'm talking to some other folks now about some of my stuff. So far, that's the only recording artist that's recording my stuff.
Let's talk about the single that's currently out. You also have a video that's available for this, and I kind of picked that up from coming across your article that was written by John Lawless with Bluegrass Today. It's a great song. I enjoyed watching both the video as well as listening to the tune. What influenced you to write this song? Sally Sunday.
Sally Sunday's a made-up name, of course. You know, when you're writing songs, a lot of it comes from true life experiences, but some of it you kind of make it up as you go. And
right.
I had a friend of mine that calls me pretty regular, and he's a musician also, and he told me one afternoon not too long ago before I wrote the song that he had a grandmother that was a little bit unique and wished that somebody would write a song about her. And so I said, well, I was riding down the road actually when he called me, and I pulled over and I said, well, tell me a little bit about her. And so I took some notes of what he was telling me about her. He was going to call me back, and we was going to talk about it some more, and I don't know, a couple of weeks might have passed before I heard back from him again. By the time he called me back, I already had the song kind of put together. Some of the parts of the song is stuff that he told me about his grandmother, and then, of course, you put other things in there and change the name because you don't want to bring somebody's name up, you know, as a real-life person on something like that. That's where the idea for the song came from.
There's a young lady on the video who I didn't notice until the end of the video, or very close to the end. Of course, she's dancing quite a bit throughout the video, which is awesome. I don't know how she does it with those big boots, that's for sure. But I noticed she's holding a fiddle toward the end of the video where she is still spinning around dancing. That would be the same young lady that we're seeing quite a bit posting videos on Facebook of her playing the fiddle along with her dancing. And who is that young lady, if I may ask?
Her name is Hillary Klug, Klug.
Okay.
When we started talking about making the video, Valerie Smith helps me promote my music. She is the owner of Bell Buckle Records and also Bell Buckle Productions. And she does videos and has people on her record label there at Bell Buckle Records and has a little radio station. It was her idea to get Hillary to come and dance on that video. And Hillary has a rather large following on YouTube, and so she has a whole lot of videos out there.
Sure does.
And, you know, the style that she does is the old John Hartford style of standing on a plank and dancing while she's playing the fiddle. So very popular. I was very happy to get her to be on the video, but I didn't know her. Valerie introduced me to her. And
I'm familiar with what you're talking about. Well, I've seen him on several videos on TV. But I had the opportunity in the mid-'80s to actually see him perform live in concert, and he and his son played mandolin with him. But then he did a couple little solo spots, but he was also doing the old soft shoe too. So that's great.
And I don't know if that's where she got the idea for it or not, but she very much after that same style that he did.
Now with her, it puts me in the mind of clogging, but she's definitely making that happen with some pretty big boots.
Pretty big boots. Yeah, she's making it happen.
Right. This is just the single from the forthcoming album. What else can we expect, or what else could the listeners expect to hear from this album? Is it all bluegrass?
It's a bluegrass album, and let me just mention to you that Donna, when we first started talking to her about producing the record, she told me that she always had Scott Vestal play the banjo on her recordings.
Great stuff.
So I didn't know it, but Scott is really my neighbor here. He lives within about 3 miles of my house.
Wow.
And that's where his studio is. Being here right close to Nashville, Scott, of course, is very highly respected among his peers, and he can get just about anybody he calls on to come and play for recording sessions. And so I've got some top-notch players on all of my projects because I've recorded all of them at Scott's studio.
And who all would be featured on this forthcoming album?
Scott, of course, plays the banjo on them. Cody Kilby on the guitar. Harry Clark's on the mandolin. Gavin Largen is on the dobro. Pat McAvenue is on the fiddle. Evan Windsor on the bass. Evan also is the guy that sits in the swing with Hillary on the video. That's Evan because that's her boyfriend.
Gotcha.
So they're both in the video. And then you have Donna singing background vocals with her husband, Rick Stanley. Mm-hmm. And then we brought in Aaron McCune to sing some bass parts on 4 or 5 of the tunes, and he really is a standout. I don't know if you've heard him or not.
I definitely heard him on the Sally Sunday video.
Got about, I think, 4 bluegrass gospel tunes are on this record also.
Great.
We wanted to get some of that in there, and actually, when I went in here to record the songs that are going to be on this record, I recorded a bunch of songs, and this is just some of them that we decided to go on this project. But I got enough gospel songs recorded in those sessions that I've got enough stuff to do another gospel record, and I'll probably come out with that in the next several months also.
And again, these are all originals by you?
Everything's original by me, yes, sir. Everything I've recorded. Yeah.
Right. I know things aren't really happening much. Things are kind of picking up a little bit with the pandemic. Anything in the near future for you, or is everything pretty much at a standstill?
That's a point I'll make with you and people that might hear this interview. I'm not a touring artist. I'm more or less just a singer-songwriter, and I haven't tried to get out and be on tour and be out doing shows and stuff like that. This is just stuff that I've written all the songs, and I wanted to get them recorded and get them out there for people to hear them, but I'm not out on the bluegrass circuit.
Wow.
With a band touring around or anything.
Well, if you enjoy what you're doing and you're not really worried about being on the road and everything seems to be doing well for you, then, hey, stay with it.
Really, one of the reasons that I don't get out and tour around it is I own my own business, and I have to deal with that quite a bit. That's one reason that I don't do it. And but not to say that I won't ever do it.
Sure.
I would like to do it sometime, but I haven't done that so far.
Well, right now is a good time to stay put.
It's a very unusual times.
Yes, sir. It sure is. Are any of your prior CDs or projects, as well as this brand new single, are any of these available for digital download?
I've got 3 other projects that I've done, complete the original projects. And the first one I did was called The Gospel Road. It's all bluegrass gospel. Mm-hmm. The second one was In the Shadow of His Wings. That's all bluegrass gospel. And then I wanted to try something different. And so the third one that I did was called The Storyteller in Me, and it don't have any gospel stuff on it at all. This stuff is all available on my website, DanielCrabtreeMusic.com, and of course it's available on iTunes and Amazon, Spotify, and all that stuff. You know, everywhere where you would ordinarily stream music, it should be there.
When can the folks expect this album to be released?
We're going to try to get this thing out in November. Been trying to get it put together, and I always get bogged down on the graphics for the packaging and all that. I've had the music ready for several months, but we've about got that all put together now, and I hope I have it out in November.
Okay. Is your video available also on your website for folks to check out?
No, it's not on the website, but it's on YouTube. If you put in Daniel Crabtree, Sally Sunday, it'll pop right up on YouTube. That's where where you can see it at.
Alrighty. Well, I invite the folks to check out the great video, as well as keep your ears and eyes open for the availability of The Way I See It. Now, will you be posting an announcement on your website or Facebook?
We'll be getting the word out on that pretty quick. Like I said, just about got it all put together, so we should start hearing some stuff about it pretty soon, especially on Facebook and places like that. Have it out there.
Gotcha. And physical copies will be available through your website as well?
Yes, sir.
Hard copies?
Sure will.
Okay, gotcha. All right, well, before I air this, Daniel, it was a pleasure to talk with you. As I tell everybody that I've had the honor to talk to on Hear It Here, I wish you all the best with this release as well as the album. I wish you and your family to continue to be safe and well during this pandemic. And hopefully when you're ready to release your next album, be sure to come back to the Bluegrass Jamboree, and I'm sure myself or one of our fine DJs would love to talk with you in regards to that.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Brett. It's been good to talk to you, and I appreciate you playing my music, and we'll be listening to your show.
Alrighty, and here's Sally Sunday from Daniel Crabtree's forthcoming album, The Way I See It, and it's heard right here on the BluegrassJamboree.com.
What you gonna do with Sally Sunday? Little baby left in the barnyard, no evidence from when she came. Farmer didn't know what to do with her till he heard her church bell ring. He heard that church bell ring. Put her in a wicker basket, walked her down the lane, laid her in the arms of a nun who named her Sally Sunday. She named her Sally Sunday. Sally Sunday, Sally Sunday. What you gonna do with Sally Sunday? The sisters had their hands full when she learned to walk. She couldn't hold her tongue when she finally learned to talk. Sally Sunday sure could talk. She grew up rough and tumble, the boys pushed her around. Tried to get her to rumble, she'd knock 'em to the ground. She'd knock 'em old boys down. Sally Sunday, Sally Sunday. What you gonna do with Sally Sunday? She can skin a pig better than a man can. Skin a pig better than a man can. You'd have to have her for the rest of his life, but he'd wait a little longer to make that girl his wife. He'd make Sally his wife. Sally Sunday, Sally Sunday. What you gonna do with Sally Sunday? 60 years together, she never lost a fight. He loved her just the way she was, right till the day she died. Right till the day she died. As they put her in the ground, he couldn't help but smile when he thought of her in heaven, up there running wild, up there running wild. Sally Sunday, Sally Sunday. What you gonna do with Sally Sunday, Sally Sunday? Lord, what you gonna do with Sally Sunday?
Well, folks, that wraps up another segment of Hear It Here, heard only on the BluegrassJamboree.com. Tune in and join us again for more interviews from some of your favorite bluegrass artists. I'm Brett Smeltzer, and until next time, take care, be safe, and God bless. So long, everyone.